Benvenuti alla mia cucina. Welcome to my kitchen. Today on Earth Sirocco, we're gonna make a classic Italian dish called pasta fagioli, or as some of you might know it, pasta fagioli. This dish is considered cucina povera, or poor man's food. That's because it uses cheap ingredients to make a filling and nutritious dish that's packed with flavor. We're gonna be using a good quality pasta, which is very high in protein, as well as white kidney beans or cannellini beans, which are also very high in protein. That makes this dish a protein powerhouse and a great source of fiber. Although Italians eat this dish like all the time, it's really popular during the colder months because of its warm and comforting flavor. Pasta fagioli can be made in so many different ways, but I'm gonna show you my favorite way of making it. Because I'm using dried beans, they're gonna take a little bit of time to cook, so let's get started. The first thing we need to do is add our kidney beans to a small pot. And I'm just gonna put enough water in there to cover them. So I'm gonna start by turning the stove on to a high heat. I'm just gonna allow the water to come up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit to keep it at a gentle boil. The beans are gonna take about 2 hours to cook. As they're cooking, I'm gonna come back every so often just to shake them around. Never stir your beans because if you stir them, they're gonna end up breaking apart and becoming mushy. I also have a kettle of hot water here to add to the beans if the water starts to evaporate. So you can skip these steps completely and just use canned beans. Just make sure to rinse them very well. Using dried beans though will give you a much better flavor and texture. So now I'm just gonna cover it and let it do its thing. I'm gonna start to make my sauce because my beans are close to being ready. I'm also starting to bring a large pot of water to a boil for the pasta. So I'm gonna turn the stove on to medium-high heat. And to my saucepan, I'm gonna add in some extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna put in some diced onion, some diced carrot, and some minced garlic. Just gonna let this saute for a couple of minutes until the onions are translucent. Now I'm gonna put in 1 can of whole peeled tomatoes. I like to use the whole peeled tomatoes because it gives it a fresher taste. We just want them crushed up a little bit. Let's add some salt and some fresh black pepper. I'm also going to tear up some leaves of fresh basil. So now that our sauce is bubbling, I'm going to lower the heat and partially cover it and let it cook for about 20 minutes. So my pot of water is starting to come to a boil and I'm gonna add a generous amount of salt. My favorite pasta to use with pasta e fagioli is called filea. Filea is a very popular Calabrese pasta. It's nice and thick and it has a hole in the center which holds onto sauces really well. You can use many kinds of pastas with pasta e fagioli, but I would recommend one that's tubular. I would also say don't use spaghetti. But if you can find these filea, trust me, you'll love it. My water's now boiling, so I'm gonna add in the pasta. So the package says to let it cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna cook it for 12 minutes, so it's a perfect al dente. My pasta needs about 2 more minutes to cook, so I'm gonna strain my beans. Now I'm gonna add it in the sauce. Gently stir it so that you don't break the beans. I'm gonna put in some pasta water. And a little bit of salt. Now I'm gonna add in the pasta. Now I'm gonna stir it all together. Oh my god, that's so good. Just a few simple flavors that come together to make a perfect dish. It's really hearty and super tasty. I think I could finish this whole thing, but the family's gotta eat. Thank you for joining me in making this delicious pasta fagioli. Like I said, there's so many different ways that you can make this, and you can make it completely your own. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with my latest vegan recipes. Head on over to earthtorocco.com for the ingredients and instructions for today's pasta fagioli and a bunch more recipes. Ciao for now.